All right.
All right.
Good
Good
day,
day, and
welcome
welcome
to
to
session
session
number
number
4,
4,
live
live
coding
coding
for
for
cloud
cloud
native
native
application
application
development with
development with
Microprofile
Microprofile
and Open
and Open
Liberty.
Liberty.
This session
This
is
session is
being
being
hosted by
hosted by
Emily
Emily
Jiang,
Jiang,
and
and
Emily is a Liberty
Emily
architect
is
for
a Liberty architect
Microprofile
for
and
Microprofile
CDI in
and
IBM,
CDI in
based at
IBM, based
IBM's
at
Hursley
IBM's
Laboratory in the
Hursley
UK.
Laboratory in the
She
UK.
has worked on a
She has
WebSphere
worked on a
application
WebSphere
server since
application server since
2006 and is heavily
2006 and is
involved in
heavily
Java
involved
EE
in Java
implementation
EE
and WebSphere
implementation and
application
WebSphere
server
application
releases.
server releases.
She's a key
She's
member
a
of
key member of
MicroProfile and
MicroProfile
CDI
and
expert
CDI
group
expert
and
group
leads the
and leads the
specification of
specification of
MicroProfile
MicroProfile
config and fault
config and fault
tolerance.
tolerance.
Emily is also
Emily is
config
also convict
GSR host
GSR
tech lead.
host tech
She
lead. She
regularly speaks in
regularly speaks in
conferences such
conferences
as
such
Chats,
as Chats,
Post,
Post,
DevOps in
DevOps
US
in
and UK and
US, UK,
France,
and
Dev,
France, Dev,
Nexus and
Nexus, and
EclipseCon.
EclipseCon.
And by the way,
And
if
by
you
the way,
haven't
if you
registered
haven't
for
registered for
EclipseCon, please do
EclipseCon, please
so.
do so.
The event
The
is
event is
happening on
happening
October
on October
25th.
25th.
Cool, cool,
Cool,
cool,
cool,
cool,
cool, cool,
cool
cool
event.
event. Lots of interesting
tracks
tracks
for various
for various
technologies
technologies
happening.
happening.
So
So
be sure to
be sure to
register.
register.
So back
So back
to
to
Emily's
Emily's
session.
session.
So if you're
So
really
if you're
planning to
really
build a
planning to
cloud
build a
native
cloud native
application,
application,
MicroProfile and Open
MicroProfile and
Liberty are
Open
here to
Liberty are
help
here to help
you with the
you
easy
with the
use to
easy
use
use to use
APIs so that you
APIs so
can
that you
focus
can
on business
focus on
logic.
business logic.
Come to this session
Come to
to
this
watch the
session to
live
watch the
coding
live coding
cloud native
cloud native
applications using
applications using
MicroProfile programming
MicroProfile
mode,
programming mode,
MicroProfile.io,
MicroProfile.io,
and get
and
them
get them
running
running
OpenLiberty.io.
OpenLiberty.io.
Finally, deploy
Finally,
them into
deploy them into
Kubernetes to
Kubernetes
see
to
how
see
you
how you
function
function
natively in the
natively in
cloud.
the cloud.
The floor is
The floor
all
is all
yours, Emily
yours,
Jiang.
Emily Jiang.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the great introduction. The audience said there's an echo somewhere. Can you take a look to see whether you can fix the echo? I can't see. I can't hear the echo. So let me get started. Let me share my screen. Share my screen. I have a few slides, but most of the things is about the coding. In this session, I will talk about cloud native application development with MicroProfile and using Open Liberty, and this is based on actually the book I recently published, Practical Cloud Native Java Development with MicroProfile. So it's recently published. It's available on Amazon. Actually, today I have some good news. If you please pay attention to the session and ask questions, and if you ask questions, you have a chance to win one ebook. So I have 3 ebooks to give away. So please ask questions, and later on I will get in touch with you via from the chat. Please follow me on Twitter, so Emily FH Jiang, so that we can connect, so I can get details from you. So without further ado, let's look at what is cloud native. Is the microservice cloud native? Is cloud native microservice? Actually, it's in the website. If you Google about cloud native, there's all various explanations. But from my past experience and etc., so I came into conclusion. Actually, cloud native means your application is native to the cloud. That includes microservice and also includes modular monoliths. So from now on, you don't think, okay, I'm not cloud native because I'm not doing microservices. However, if you build a modular monolith, you are also doing cloud native. So what kind of application is a cloud native application? Basically, I list these 5 features. Like I need to RESTful so that it can scale up or scale down without losing any information, and also configurable. And so you can configure externally and without redeploy your application. And also it needs to be resilient, so it can function no matter what. And the following thing is need to be can be documented, so it can be easily discovered. And also your microservice or your cloud native application need to be secure. And when we talk about cloud native, you always need to pay attention to the monitoring data, also traceable as well. If something goes wrong, you need to figure out where is the problem. And finally, the cloud native application is intelligent. Is able to communicate with the cloud infrastructure regarding whether it can die of starvation, so that Kubernetes, for example, can start a new one. So luckily, with that, all the characteristics required by cloud native applications, microservice provide all corresponding APIs for you. In the previous session from Dimitri, you already heard about MicroProfile. Probably by now, most people heard of MicroProfile. It's a kind of MicroProfile is a standard body, and it governed by MicroProfile working group, and is APIs and TCK and spec in the public domain. So it's on Maven Central. It's completely community driven. It's very lightweight, iterative process. So without any further ado, let's get started. So in order to get started, we have a tooling support. You can go to start.microprofile.io to create a Maven or Gradle projects. So support to create either create a Maven Gradle and also choose your implementation. So it's choose a MicroProfile version and then choose the implementation you want, Open Liberty, Piara, Halidon, or Quarkus, and etc. And then if you use IDEs like VS Code, IAM, we have a MicroProfile extension pack, so which I will demo in a minute to create some cloud native application. If you use IntelliJ, and we have IntelliJ plugin help you as well, so you can install that plugin to create some cloud native application. And also in various runtime such as Open Liberty, Piara, Quarkus, Halidon, they all got different CLI. So in Open Liberty, you go to the start.openliberty.io and you can access this one. So you can create you can specify because the MicroProfile and Jakarta EE are complementary to each other, you can specify which Jakarta EE version you want, which MicroProfile version you want. You can generate either Maven or Gradle, and we support all the latest Java SE. You can choose 11, you can choose 17, and etc. So you can choose 11, you can choose Java 8, and also we are working to support Java 17. So let's go to the demo. So in this demo, I created two microservices and they talk to each other, and I'm hoping also deploy it to Kubernetes as well to see how they function. Let me look at my IDE here. So I have a VS Code installed. I have a VS Code MicroProfile extension pack installed. I just see here. Group ID, artifact ID, I will say CN4J, and then the version I will say version 4, and then you can say version 4 Open Liberty Wildfly Piaro, I choose Open Liberty, and then it's Java SE version, I choose 11, and I choose Maven. Here is in this example I choose Health, and also I choose REST client because I want to create two microservices. So let me generate it into this folder, add to current project. So here is basically the two microservices created. One is the service B, basically is the JAX-RS resources and JAX-RS application. So it has a get operation, do something, and the response something. And then in the service A, I directly call into service B. before I show you how to call into service B, let's get the application up running. So I use the Maven Liberty dev and start I need to go to service B first, and then start as cd service B, and then start the service B in the dev mode, which means I can do my coding and it will be able to see the change straight away. I go to service A. Also, I do the start it in the Liberty dev mode. So service B is started like list on the 9080. Like service A will start in a minute and will list on the 9080. So it's service B on the 9081. So it's in this way, like service B is this is like the JAX resources. So how to make like service A directly invoke service B? So basically, is create an interface and list service B's like that operation, and then it's the only thing we use the MicroProfile REST client. You just annotate it with the register REST client. And then in your JAX resources, you can directly inject the REST client, and then you can call the service there. And then how does the service A know where service B lives? So you use MicroProfile config. So this is a fully qualified class name, service/mprest/URL. So this directly call into the service B. So it's now the service A is up running. Let's go into here. So it's in this all up running in the 9080. So this is the kind of service A directly. This is the service A JAX resources and directly call into service B, process parameter value. So let's go back here in the service B. Let's just say this is service B. Just make sure actually it's really call into like service B. So yeah, that's right. So it's like these two hooked up. So it's the next thing I want to configure like service A. So it's let me see, now it's nearly like a Black Friday. So if I say here, I will say Black Friday discount. For example, I will say discount. I want to display like a Black Friday discount, for example. And then I want to like specify discount somewhere else. So I can do a @inject at the configure property, and then I will say name equals discount. I will say discount. So I want to inject the discount. I look up from somewhere and then like inject into it. So I got an error straight away, said config value doesn't exist for the discount. Yeah, I haven't defined anywhere. So I can just say discount maybe 20%. So now is happy. Now if I go back here, I will say, oh, it's 20%. I need a space here. Let me go back here, and then other space. So the other thing is like we do the project and move them from dev and test and then prod, and then in a different stage we use a different configuration. In MicroProfile config, we support this feature called MicroProfile config profile. So basically with the percentage and profile name and then the dot and then the property name. So I can specify here 30% dev, and then I will do a test. I will do a 50%. Actually, in the prod, I will go bold. I will say actually in the prod I do a 75%, and then I can specify currently which profile I'm in. I will say currently I'm in dev. In this way, the 30% will be displayed. So let's have a look. See here, 30%. So it's this is the configuration. So it's the other thing is kind of for example, you have a really kind of the freaky, a very kind of unstable backend. For example, let me just directly put error in the put in some bugs in the service B. So sometimes is very slow, and sometimes is doesn't work. So if I directly put in here, and then we put this. Let me save this one, and then it's kind of sometimes is really slow. You can see it here is really slow, and then sometimes it doesn't work. So it's I can use MicroProfile fault tolerance to make it make it without fix the backend. I can just make sure my service is going to function no matter what. So I can use some retry in my service, and then also I can say timeout. So basically, if the backend doesn't return within 100 milliseconds, I will say timeout. And then when you use timeout, is always some best practices to say some kind of the use asynchronous. So I can say completion stage. Once you use asynchronous, is you need to return either completion stage or future. So here I can say completable future dot. Let me save this one. So if you go back, now it's always really fast and nothing is always work. So this is like the great way to make sure like your microservice is a function, always a function without any problem. The other thing, if you use like if you have a very critical microservices, you should always use the fallback. So you can say actually if something really not working, I want you to make sure to fall back to a different operation. So in this way, I want you to fall back to my fallback. So here you need to just define another method here with exactly same signature here, and however you just let me just this one, I just say this is my fallback. So you always call into alternative operation. So this is the kind of the how to make a resilience microservice. The other thing is here your microservice also is the kind of has a documentation associated with, because MicroProfile Open API always already generate some documentation for you. However, if you want to add more, like you want add more like documentation to describe a different return code and etc. And then you can use MicroProfile Open API to do so. And import it, like to explain the return code 200 and 404 of 404 and etc. You can directly just do like that. And then let's go back here. So you can see it's all the documentation being displayed. So the other thing is like you can add some more metrics data. So in the metrics data, so here if you just directly say simply timed, and you can say name equals simply, for example, timer. And then like in here, go back, can call into here, and then if go to the endpoint metrics, so you can see all the fault tolerance metrics, how many times being retried, fallback, and also you can get the simply timer metrics. So it will be you can directly feed into the Grafana dashboard, for example. And also is automatically also some all the trees span automatically correlated. So for example here I can see spans. So you can see all the span, how long it spent in which service and etc. Let's say longest and first and latest spans, least spans, and most spans, and you can see all kinds of different spans. It's all like if you can service A call into service B, you can figure out which service is having an issue with. So that's kind of the quickly go through the trace and metrics and etc. So the other thing is MicroProfile Health. So it's in MicroProfile Health you can have a health/health/live and /health/ready to directly, like you can directly link with Kubernetes liveness and readiness probe. So also recently in the MicroProfile 4.1 we have added like a startup probe. So we have /health/started. So that one we checked before the health/health/live and /health/ready. So with that, this is pretty much done with the application. So the next thing is about so basically I can stop this operation, and then we are all happy with it. And then is kind of the next thing. We can directly do a build, so that we can do a Maven verify to create a wall. Maven verify to create a wall, and also you can copy the the next thing is containerize your application. So basically you can copy the Docker file, and then copy the Docker file, and then you can do a Docker build. So this is the Docker build. You can build the Docker image, the Syn4G service A and Syn4G service B. So while it's building, and also create a very performant Docker image, and show you the Docker file. So this is from the base image Java 11 OpenG9, and then copy the config file, and then copy the wall, and then run config.sh. So config.sh layer all this libraries and artifacts, and is a nice layer. So that's build a very performant Docker image. So the next thing is the next thing is kind of deployed to Kubernetes. So in doing that, I can directly copy the deployment YAML file, and then is I can delete the deploy YAML file to directly demonstrate, and then I can directly apply deployment liberty to deploy the Docker file. However, I think in terms of looks like a time, we don't have much time left. However, I want to explain to you the deployment file. For deployment file, I have the a deployment to deployment, and then the deployment for the service A. So it's basically CM4G service A 1.0, and also is the other one is CM4G. So this is CM4G service B is 1.0. So and then it's two service. So in the service A, I directly call into service B, and once you deploy to Kubernetes, you won't be like a localhost 9081. So here, they are all in the same cluster, the Kubernetes cluster. So here is directly service name. So CM4G app B service, and then is this URL. And the other thing is kind of the MicroProfile configure profile, and in my dev, I said is a dev, and now is in Kubernetes. After I deploy it, I say actually is a test. So and then also I mentioned earlier the Kubernetes liveness probe. You can use the health /health/live to directly feed into the configure the liveness probe. Similarly, for the readiness probe, you use the /health/ready. So it's in here actually they are already up running before this session. I deployed this service up. So here is kind of already say okay it's 800 and then directly. So here is I can directly call into the backend. So I can directly deployment. I can delete that, and then I can apply a new one. It will terminate the old one and then check and create a new one. So while it's doing, let's quickly go back to the slides again. I can go through the. So it's this is kind of the quick slides. So basically, this is the book I mentioned, and this is a URL. You can get into the Amazon to order the book, IBM base / MicroProfile book, and there's some good links for the to learn MicroProfile, to learn Open Liberty, and etc. I wrote a blog about MicroProfile with Istio, also a blog about MicroProfile comparison with Spring and etc. So this is kind of the book URL. If you have any questions, and feel free to ask. Afterwards, you can also follow me on Twitter, ask more questions. Yeah. So, are there any questions?
I think there is. Emily.
Yeah.
It's from Trouble C.
Yeah.
He's asking, does the microprofile JWT module specification supports custom JWT verifiers?
Custom JWT verifiers. You mean the token, or you mean the what do you mean the JWT verifiers? Or can you post on the link? So basically, yeah.
It's added to the
Let me stop share.
chat session.
Let me stop share my screen. Yeah, just a double show you. Actually, is the Kubernetes is all working, so it's 50%. Let me stop share my screen. How do I spell share? I just say close video. Can you take me off? Can you take me off? Okay, I can see this one. Does MicroProfile JWT module specification support customer JW verifier? So it's MicroProfile JWT basically is adopt JWT. So whatever supported in JWT will be supported by MicroProfile. Also, it's the only addition in MicroProfile JWT is it adds two claims. One is the UPN, one is groups. Where UPN is kind of mandatory and groups is optional. So it's whatever supported in JWT is supported by MicroProfile. Does that answer your question? Thank you, Kola.
I guess so.
Yeah. Are there any other questions? Remember, if you ask a question, you have a chance to get a copy of my book, ebook.
All right, lovely. Thank you so much, Emily, for the nice presentation and for the demo. We're gonna be for about 20 minutes right now to stretch, and then we're gonna be back. Of course, for all the folks asking about the presentations, all the presentations would be ready on our social media channels, as well as the Foundation YouTube channel. We'll be posting the links to YouTube channel in a minute. But yeah, all the material will be ready there for convenience.
Yeah.
And it's in the description.
And also, I will
videos add the any presentations that the speakers have presented today.
Yeah. By the way, I will share my I will post my a demo to my GitHub repo. So I will announce it on my Twitter handle. So yeah. Just have a look at my Twitter messages and feed and etc. and get to know the repo URL. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily. And see you in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye. 妈咪把计算机拿过去呀。但是你这个地方没地方坐呀。